Hey guys!
Is it going?
Yeah, it's going.
Hi everyone. So you can see anybody can do this.
So it is day 6 of our Reflect and Recharge at Home series. So we just wanted to have a little video with you.
Yeah. Check in, say hi, how's it going? And congratulate you for coming all the way through to this point already. Like, you're at day 6. There's only today and tomorrow left. I'm sure there's been some amazing occurrences, and we're really excited. We hope you're going to share those with us. That's something that we that we feel like we're missing out from retreat, because when we're on the retreat, we kind of get that feedback from day to day.
And we see the progress of day to day and how women shift and flow.
Yeah, so we're
missing that.
Yeah, we're missing out on that. But we wanted to come to you today because this topic, or today's topic, the F word.
The damn F word.
And we love to drop F-bombs, but this F-bomb, the word failure, we really want to talk about it because it's something for Vanessa and I think both of us have found ways to maybe redefine how we approach it and what we think about that word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and we wanted to come to you as another human being to say that our life experiences have had highs, lows, ups, downs, and everything. And we just want to share a little bit of that with you today, too. So we're going to make Vanessa go first. Absolutely.
There's that F-bomb.
There's the F, yeah. She's younger.
My failures, man. It's funny because when I graduated university, so I had a few different instances in South America volunteering and speaking Spanish and loving it. And so when I graduated university, I had all these expectations that I was going to board a plane and move to Spain and speak Spanish and teach and live happily ever after. And I was to go for a year. And within a month, I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? This is so terrible. Long story short, I became an au pair. So I was staying with this family, and it was a very challenging experience. And I had a lot of emotions around it, and I was emotionally eating too. I would hide my candy bars in my underwear drawer, and then at night scarf them down and be like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. And it was so bad, I started in September that come January, I wanted to leave. And a friend of mine convinced me to stay, and at the end of it, in June, she apologized and was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I made you stay. I didn't think it was that bad. And so for me, it was a really difficult experience because I didn't want to stay, but at the same time, it was exactly how I had planned for it to be. And I spent so much time resisting and fighting that it wasn't turning out exactly how I had planned, because I had planned it out. I had mapped it out. It was supposed to look like this, and month 1 was supposed to look this way, and then by month 3, it was supposed to be going like this. And so every moment I was just fighting it because it wasn't unfolding how I envisioned and planned it. And so that was a really big lesson because it tore me down emotionally, and it was a really life-changing experience because it did tear me down. It tore me down emotionally, physically, all kinds of relationships because I had none, because I was in a different country. But by the time that I moved myself out of my situation, I had decided to follow my gut. Something was telling me to go back to the Netherlands and just show up there and start something. So I ended up going back there, and I was sitting at the bar, and some guy was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I don't know. I don't have a job. I don't know the language. I don't have a house to live. But I just felt like being here. And so I told him that within a month I would be back talking Dutch to him. And he was like, yeah, okay. And a month later, I was speaking Dutch to him. I was working at a grocery store. I was taking Dutch lessons. I was cleaning houses. So everything all of a sudden just started falling into place. And here I had no plans at all. And yet magically things were just coming at me left and right. And I joined a soccer team and I made friends. And it was the most amazing experience that I've ever had. And it really opened my eyes to how life unfolds when you're willing to say yes and when you're willing to take that leap and not know what's next. And you could look at Spain as a failure, and in many ways, it didn't live up to my expectations, but in the same time, coming back from it, looking back at it, I can see how that experience set me up into the Netherlands, of how it unfolded the way it did and what I gained from it as a result of going through what I had.
It's amazing. Thanks,
Failure.
Vanessa. Right. So, as I listen to Vanessa's story, and I think, I've got 20 years, more years on this planet than Vanessa has. And I've had maybe a bunch of different scenarios that I can identify with, coming in with certain plans. And when things don't work out, all we can see is that things don't work out, as opposed to, but what is working out and what's underneath all this. And I've gotten better at that as time's gone on, right? That's a skill that nobody really teaches us. It's something that we maybe teach ourselves through life experiences. So we hope that, by sharing our stories, that you can see that you maybe didn't even recognize that you're already doing this in your own life, but maybe you can just start to enhance it. So, for myself in the last little while, I've really learned to live a life on life's terms. And one of those was the decision to leave Stratford after I chose to end my marriage. And that was something, to make that decision, because on paper and in everybody's eyes and in my own eyes, it was a great marriage. Everything was what it was supposed to be, but I wasn't really happy there. And I didn't feel that relationship was the best relationship for me. And so I took a risk, and I decided to leave, and not just leave the marriage, but I also decided to leave Stratford. And part of that was because most of the time we see an end relationship as a failure. And so I needed space and time to kind of get my head around that, because as much I didn't feel like a failure, I felt like I'd failed my husband, I felt like I'd failed my marriage, but I felt underneath all that very proud and successful in the fact that I made that decision. So by leaving Stratford, it gave me the time and space to just figure that out for myself, to not have to tell a story that I didn't believe in as to what happened, and that I could get involved in day-to-day life just as Arlene, not Arlene, the separated woman or the divorced woman. And it was a really amazing experience. Highs and lows and good times and some things that didn't work out so great as well. But it also allowed me, when I came out of that, I decided to go out east and just let the wind take me without any expectations and without any plans. And it was the most amazing 8 months of just letting life unfold, and meeting people and having these off chance meetings with strangers and conversations, and all of that. I wouldn't have been able to do that 20 years ago. I wouldn't have had the confidence to do it. I wouldn't have had the trust in that life really wants you to succeed, that the universe has got your back. I mean, we hear that over and over again, but we have to learn to practice that. We have to learn to trust the universe is going to have our back. And so we have to just kind of go with it, just as Vanessa did by just going to the Netherlands, right? And things just fell into place.
And I think we both share stories about leaving and traveling and just being able to take that opportunity just to get into the flow of life. But by no means does it have to look that way, right? Like, you can walk out your front doorstep and go for a walk and not know where you're going to end up, and just see where life takes you, or who you end up running into, or what path you end up taking, and what you notice as a result of it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something as big as that,
Right. We just, I mean, for us,
Those
it
are
was, just using examples of these. Yeah. So please, we're not suggesting that have to
fly the coop or anything like that.
or
but,
go to another country or
Mm-mm.
anything. Thanks for that, Vanessa. Right. It can be just simple in your day to day, just changing things up, but looking at it from a different lens and redefining what success is, because success is not big bank accounts and promotions and all that. Success is being grounded and feeling confident in your just letting life flow
and recognizing that everybody's going to have their own different definition of what success is, right? So for someone, it might be, I don't want to give examples.
Right.
I'll let you guys
you
define
decide for
what
yourself.
you think success means to you.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So thanks for listening, and thanks for attending our workshop. We had a great time putting this together for you, and we really look forward, just to hearing back from you. Please give us some feedback. We really appreciate that. So have fun today, and ciao for now.